Dixon. Welcome everybody to another edition of This Day in Black Baseball History. Hope everybody's had a wonderful day. I certainly did. And now I am ready to relay you some sports information that you typically won't get anywhere else. So, guys, I usually give a minute here for people to join. And in that minute, I usually give my little disclaimer that says, if you like what we're doing here, by all means, subscribe. I may mention that one more time. And also, if you think you know some other people who are baseball fans and who want to be a part of this community, by all means, share. So, this is Phil Dixon, and today is March the 18th, 2026. And this is this day's edition of This Day in Black Baseball History and much more. Right. So we're going to hit on a few things today that typically you will not hear anywhere else unless they listen to me and then they go ahead and copy it. Right. But I come on late in the day, so they'd have to copy it tomorrow and maybe it won't be as timely. So, guys, are you ready for some baseball action? Well, first of all, I do want to say congratulations to Venezuela last night for winning that tournament there. And that was a big deal for Venezuela. And then also, I hadn't had a chance to actually acknowledge Bill White for winning the Buck O'Neill Award there through the Hall of Fame there. So Bill White, I happen to know Bill White, good guy, and used to talk to him, and many years ago was talking to him about my book, The Negro Baseball Leagues of Photographic History. So we're going back to the 1980s. So anyway, I think at that particular time, he was the announcer for the New York Yankees. He used to come to the stadium in Kansas City all the time. So I would see him quite a bit. So guys, if you're joining, by all means, let me know where you're joining from, okay? So we're going to jump right in here, and let me give you some baseball facts, and we will go from there. All right, and we're going to go to March 18th, 1904, and Shrug, S-H-U-G Spates, the Carthage, Missouri baseball player, Negro baseball player, has signed with a team at Buckingham, Colorado. Now, if you've ever been down to Carthage, I've been there, I presented there a number of times. How do you get in those times from Carthage, Missouri to let people know that you're available and then go to Buckingham, Colorado? They're not even close. I'm not even figuring out. So guys, I'm just simply amazed how these ball players moved around and how they created a network in a world of racism. And so I don't know if somebody knew somebody moved along and maybe said, hey, there's a guy down here you can get. I don't know what the case was. But anyway, he was on his way to Buckingham, Colorado. I don't even know where Buckingham, Colorado is, right? So anyway, somebody said, I hope you be famous one day. Well, I tell you what, if I can give you information that enlightens you and you enjoy it, I'm famous already. All right. So hey, I'm just trying to deliver information. Been doing this for, believe it or not, guys, this is my 46th year, right? And so anyway, okay, so we're going to go back to Mr. Spates, S-P-A-T-E-S, and according to the Slater, Missouri News Rustler newspaper, in Carthage, Missouri, Spate is known as a fast black. Now, what is a fast black? I tell you what, these newspapers back in 1904, some of the things I read and have read simply blow me away. And by the way, thanks for subscribing. Also, certainly appreciate that. We're building a network here, and you're welcome to the neighborhood, right? Okay, let's go to another one right quick. How about this one? You can probably relate to this with most of the people. I started to pipe up some music before I came on. Maybe I might find a song and put it with this. But anyway, March 18, 1934, Charlie Frank Pride is born in Sledge, Mississippi, on a 40-acre cotton farm to a family of 8 boys and 3 girls. Man, that's a family right there. Boy, say, and he grew up in the cotton belt there in Mississippi. He even wrote a song he released in 1974 entitled Mississippi Cotton Picking Delta Town. Wow, that's a heck of a title, right? And so you probably heard of Charlie Pride, right? And I don't know if you knew that he played baseball. Maybe most of you do. And most of my community who's follows baseball, they've heard that, but many people have not. And of course, you remember some of his songs. I remember my parents used to like to turn on WDAF in Kansas City back in the 70s, and there was a country station. They had the best news, and they would put on. I remember how many times I heard "Kiss an Angel Good Morning." Man, I tell you, it was a hot number back then. And I remember also Charlie Rich's song, "Hey, did you happen to see the most beautiful girl in the world?" Man, every time I hear that song, it takes me way back to my parents, getting up, and they were retired. And I'm about to go to school, and they're playing WDAF, right? So somebody around Kansas City remembers WDAF, but yeah, they had the great news back then. So anyway, that's why my parents loved it, and they didn't mind the country music. And so yeah, Charlie Rich, I remember him too, man. Wow, taking me back right here. So anyway, let's keep it moving. So Charlie Pride at 16, his pitching talent earned him a spot with the Memphis Red Sox in the Negro American League. So this is in the 50s. Black baseball is changing a little bit around that time. Matter of fact, that's the same period that they brought Tony Stone in because they couldn't draw. So they decided they're going to put a lady on the roster to get the people to the ballpark. They were experimenting because the attendance was dropping like you wouldn't believe once integration came along, and the minor leagues and American and National League, Canada, everybody was still in the best ball players. And then the older ball players, they didn't want those guys. So the teams had to transition and try to sign up younger guys. It was just a difficult period there. So anyway, Charlie Pride was able to take advantage of that, and he got in there at 16 years old. And how about this? On May 25th, 1955, the future country western crooner, then pitching for the Negro American League Detroit Stars. That was Ted Raspberry's team. Knew Ted real well. They beat the Kansas City Monarchs in a 5-4 final in Salina, Kansas. Man, I presented in Salina before too. Wow. So so he was out up in this part of the country traveling with the Detroit Stars, and of course that night his teammate Buddy Ivory added 2 singles and helped Pride get the win. And of course, he eventually played for the Birmingham Black Barons, and I think it was 1956, he ended up on the East-West All-Star roster. And that was Charlie Frank Pride. Yeah. So, and later on in the 1960s, 1961, he had a tryout with the California Angels. He was still trying. Now, he went into the military, got out of the military, still wanted to play baseball, tried out with the California Angels, no success there. Then in 62, he tried out for the New York Mets. Yeah. And what's interesting, he didn't make either one of those teams, and it was ultimately not signed. And he found something better to do called country music, and he started playing that. And matter of fact, he became a legend. And the reason we're talking about him today is not because of his baseball. It's about his country music, which leads us to talk about his baseball. Yeah. And I did have a chance. I never really had a chance to interview him, but I did have a chance to meet him because when Buck O'Neil passed away, he came to Kansas City to attend the funeral. That was in 2006. And I was standing in front of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum doorway when he walked in, and I talked to him briefly, and he went on into the visitation. Yeah, Charlie Pride died during the pandemic, right? So, and from the pandemic, which is a sad story in itself. So I would tell you this, he didn't make the 1962 Mets, but my first coach I ever had, Sherman Roadblock Jones, did play for the 1962 Mets. And so I am happy to say that the manager of the Mets that year was Casey Stengel. And so I learned baseball from a guy who was managed by Casey Stengel. How about that one? Hey, not everybody can say that, but I can say that. Sherman Roadblock Jones, he was a detective around here, and he was a state rep for the state of Kansas, a state senator for the state of Kansas, lived in the Brentwood district there, which was it was an African-American community, and all the homes were built by the African-American builder and financed by Douglas State Bank, which, how about this, guys? I also played baseball for Douglas State Bank. Okay, so I was part of the community. I was all in there, guys. So all right, so we got to go to the next one. How about this guy? You know this guy too. How about Satchel Paige? Heard that name before. March 18, 1935. Satchel Paige, man, he had that great arm. It was really popping about 1935. He struck out 17 members of the Seattle Indian Yanagans, winning 8-0 at Santa Barbara, California. Man, Satchel Paige, he had a wing on him, didn't he? Boy, I tell you, when he let it loose, you were in trouble. Satchel Paige. Yeah. Let me see if I can answer a question here. Let's see. Let me see if I can see it here. Everything's disappearing here. Let's see. It says, it's clear you're a kind of so with deep depression, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, yeah. No, I tell you what, God has really blessed me because as a little kid, third, fourth grade, I started to discover baseball, and I found out that I really like baseball. I like playing it. I like talking about it. I like reading about it, and eventually I learned to like writing about it. So, guys, you can still pick up some of my books. Here's my latest one. I just happen to have it sitting next to me right now. This is my latest one, and this one is the Phil Dixon American Baseball Chronicles, the 1910 Chicago Leland Giants. It has Home Run Johnson on the cover, and let me tell you guys, this is a thick book, 400 some odd pages, well indexed, and if you pick this up and you read this, guys, I guarantee you will be a baseball expert on the 1910 Chicago Leland Giants. You may know more about that team than Ruth Foss by reading my book. But anyway, hey, we have a fun time here. So I'm going to go to the next one. So we got Satchel Paige, and by the way, I am a member of the Satchel Paige Family Foundation. So it's always important for me to keep Satchel Paige in memory alive. And if you ever get to Kansas City and you go out to where he's buried at Forest Lawn Cemetery, he has a big monument. And what's on the back of his monument is a little poetic saying. And I wrote that on the back, and it was placed on the back of his monument way back in I think it's 89 or 90, somewhere in there. So just know that I've been around a minute, guys, and have been able to touch a lot of great people, and certainly some great fans too. I've met some people that simply amaze me. All right, so we're going to keep this one going. How about this one? March 8th, 1944. Wendell Smith of the Pittsburgh Courier called Clark Griffith to task about renting his park to the Homestead Grays and then ignoring the players. So this is what he wrote. Now, it was real powerful. It was just one paragraph, but I thought it was powerful, and it really summarized, because Clark Griffith, he had no problem renting his park, because at that particular time, Griffith Stadium was right on 21st Street, where Howard University Hospital is now. And so it was right in the heart of the Black community. So he could draw a lot of people to that park, but he didn't want to hire any of those players. And his team, to be honest with you, they sucked. They were bad. So Wendell Smith gave it to him straight out. He said this little simple paragraph. He said, "Does Mr. Griffith step out of his office door and call on one of these great ball players?" He said, "No, he does not." He said, "Has Mr. Griffith ever been accused of being a poor judge of ball players?" Then he said, "He has not." "Is Mr. Griffith in need of ball players?" Wendell Smith said, "He sure in the hell is." And guys, he was walking past people like Josh Gibson and Buck Leonard and Jerry Benjamin, Vic Harris. Oh man, I could go on. Ray Brown. Oh man, he was walking past a whole lot of people, Judd Wilson, and he had no desire to sign them up. And his team was just pitiful. When I was growing up, I was a kid, I used to read books all the time, right? And I remember reading about Washington, and it was a guy named Charles Dryden. And he had wrote this, and I remember this so well, it just stuck in my mind. And it went like this: Washington, first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League. I know if you're a baseball fan, you haven't heard that one, then you're not a baseball fan. You have to go back and start reading again. Yeah, first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League. And they wouldn't even look at the talented players on the Homestead Grays. Just imagine that. Man, that's insane. and then you try to convince the public that you want to win. Give me, pay your top dollar to come see these players, and you're not even trying to get the best players, guys. That's how ridiculous it has been through the ages, right? So okay, thanks for the love, guys. Appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna go to I have one more. I have more. Let's see. Let me see what it says here. All right. Cool. So March 18th, 1991, the American League Royals released Vincent Edward Jackson. That's Bo. He was the starting left fielder for the 1989 American League All-Stars team for the Kansas City, and Bo was elected to the Royals Hall of Fame eventually in June of 2024. But how about this? During that same period when he played, guys, at that All-Star game, I was working for the Kansas City Royals. I was assistant director of public relations, and I used to see Bo every day, every home game. Talk to him all the time. That particular time, he was real good friends with Tom Gordon. When Tom Gordon came to the team, a lot of times they would play pretty bad jokes on the rookies, and so Bo didn't like them playing bad jokes on Tom Gordon. So that ceased right there. They didn't mess with Tom. They didn't mess with that rookie. And so Tom was allowed to go on and focus on his game. And because of it, I think, man, Tom had almost 20 years in the big leagues. Still a good friend of mine. So I follow him. I know he was touring across the country last year in a tour bus. But Tom Gordon, good guy. You ever get a chance to meet him and say, have you ever heard of a guy named Phil Dixon? He'll say he knows me. Yeah, Tom Gordon. And I haven't had a chance to see Bo. Every time he comes to town, something happened where I just can't get there. But I sure like to see Bo and have a conversation with him all these years. And Flash Gordon. That's his name. And from Avon Park, Florida. Yeah, that's the same place Hal McRae comes from. Matter of fact, Tom Gordon's dad played baseball with Hal McRae. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. Avon Park, Florida. So, yeah, Flash Gordon. Yeah, good guy too. Tom Flash Gordon. There's I'm trying to think, what's his name? He wrote a book. Oh my goodness, I have it on the shelf. I have it on the shelf here about Tom Gordon. Somebody knows that. What's the name of the book that the famous writer wrote about Tom Gordon? Somebody, come on, help me out, somebody. We got somebody here with that kind of knowledge. Oh man, I can't think of you know what? Maybe tomorrow when I come on, I'll pick up the book and I'll bring it on the shelf. Now, I have Charlie Pride's book on the shelf over here too. So, and look, I'm gonna have to get my books out and show you all these baseball books I have. I have quite a library, guys. It would literally wake you up. And this is just not Negro League. I've got a ton of Negro League books. I try to pick up every one and read them as they come out. But I grew up reading just baseball. So I have baseball books galore. And, and there's nothing for me. I'll get a book like this, a baseball register. And man, I read it like it's a book, I'm reading statistics and where people came from and all of that. I just have a really good time doing that. So anyway, I will tell you something that probably people didn't know. There's only one Kansas City Royals baseball player from the period that Bo Jackson was there, actually from any period, that was a long time. Now, I'm not talking somebody like Harmon Killebrew who finished up at the Royals or Orlando Cepeda or something like that. I'm talking about someone who was actually a Royal through and through. And so that would be George Brett. But when I was there, when I first got there, George Brett was getting more mail than Bo Jackson. But at his peak, Bo Jackson was getting 3 and 4 boxes of mail, and George Brett was still getting 1. So, hey, this guy had so much mail coming in there. It was just amazing. It was just coming in by the truckload. I don't know if people still write ball players like that, but back then, with all this new email and all this new technology, yep, that's right. I met Orlando Cepeda too. I have a baseball. How about this? Right here. I just have it right here. I have a baseball right here, autographed by Orlando Cepeda. I don't know if you can even see it. Let's see. You can't really see it that good, but yeah, this is sitting right up on my shelf. One autograph by Orlando Cepeda. Yeah, good guy, interesting guy to talk to as well. So anyway, Vincent Bo Jackson and I know people went through that era of the bow nose and everything. So yeah, he's a favorite. He's a favorite of mine too. And Bo Jackson was simply a great player. In my estimation, he was the greatest left fielder that the Royals ever had. And I know Alex Gordon won a whole bunch more Golden Gloves and things like that. But believe me, when Bo was out in left field, man, he could run down a ball. He could throw you out. It was just ridiculous. He was that good. Really, he was that good, and he was a pleasure to watch, and certainly a pleasure to know. And I'm glad that I can say that I knew him way back when he was doing all these wonderful things and had interaction with him. So, guys, that kind of does it for me tonight. Just a short broadcast, just 20 minutes. But I do want to thank everybody for joining. Now, remember, here's my plug. If you like what I'm doing here, guys, by all means, go ahead and subscribe. And I certainly appreciate the baseball fans here because, guys, you are uh, keeping me sharp, right? Because every time I come on here, I may drop a statistic or something like that, and sometimes I can't remember things. Oh, the girl who loved Tom Gordon. I think that was the name of the book. Now, man, now look, I almost feel like getting up and going on and getting it off the shelf, but it probably take me a minute to find it. But anyway, just know that it's been my pleasure, and you guys, you really do help me to stay involved. And it's a challenge every night to come on to find information that might be interesting to you. And so that's the thing that has been the most remarkable for me that, I came on in July, I think it was, and I've been pretty much nonstop and past 400 broadcasts, guys. And I'm still delivering information, still letting you know places I've been, people I've met, people I know. And it's just amazing to me how much that just stored in my mind that I don't get a chance to talk about that often, except when I go out to give presentations. And when people open up for question and answer, believe me, I'm not going to talk 20 minutes. I'm going to talk about maybe 3 or 4 minutes and then get out of there. But right here, I have the ability to talk and answer some of your questions. And one of these days, guys, I'm gonna set it up where probably we get about 1,000 people on subscribers. I'm gonna set it up for one night to just come in and then just field your questions, nothing but your questions, and we're gonna see how sharp my mind really is, right? And we're gonna play Stump the Chump, guys, and either you're gonna be the chump or I'm gonna be the chump, but I think it'll be fun. So just know that. And guys, so tonight, what have we done in a summary of tonight? We started off in Carthage, Missouri, and then we went down to Mississippi talking about Charlie Pride, and we talked about the guy going over to Buckingham, Colorado. I'm just got to look that one up. And Charlie Pride and his escapades in his country music. And then we talked about Satchel Paige out in Santa Barbara, California, went all the way to the coast. We talked about Wendell Smith up in Pittsburgh, complaining about Clark Griffith in Washington, D.C. And then we finished off with Bo Jackson. I didn't mention he's from Auburn. He said, where's he from? Where is he from? He's in Alabama. Bessemer, Alabama. Yeah, that's where he's from. And so I guess we start off in Bessemer, Alabama, end up with the Kansas City Royals. And he ended up in the Hall of Fame with the Royals in 2024. It took him all those years to recognize Bo. And can you believe that? That doesn't make sense either. So anyway, guys, I just want to thank you. And hopefully if you enjoyed some of this conversation tonight, if you have, feel free to share it. And certainly go ahead and subscribe and then plan on coming back to see me again. Thank you for the love, guys. I appreciate that. And I salute you, and we will keep learning together, right? We're going to tell this story, and somebody's going to listen to it because we're not going to stop talking about it, all right? So you have a nice day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. This is Phil Dixon, and this has been March 18th, the 2026 edition of This Day in Black Baseball History.